Good morning. Good morning, my friends. It is Monday morning motivation time. If you are here, say hello to us. Let us know. We're going to give it a couple of minutes for everybody to jump on and find us here. We hope everyone is having a beautiful Monday. What's going on in your lives? What's going on with your journeys with keto and carnivore?
Are you excited for Thanksgiving?
It's coming quick.
This Thursday. It's crazy.
It's wild. It's
Yeah.
hard to believe that November is headed towards being over already. So
Yeah, definitely.
here we are. Here we are. Well, let's say good morning to some people. Let's see who's here with us. There's Janelle, our rock star moderator. Good morning, everyone. My fave way to stay on track is to make keto carnivore versions of things so I'm not missing out.
Awesome.
Yes, we're going to talk about that today. I love that. Carnivore Mama stopped by, said can't stay and watch, but will watch on replay. I have family coming and made your famous carnivore chili with ground venison and buns for those who want a hot dog.
Ooh, good.
Yeah,
Yummy.
that sounds fantastic. We'll be there shortly.
Yeah.
She says y'all keep up the good work in Nashville. We're certainly going to try.
Thanks, Carnivore Mama.
And Lynn is here. 22Q Cat says hello, Chris, Ash, and everyone here this morning. Well, hello to you,
Hi,
Lynn. Very good to see you. And Auntie is here. Good morning, Shauna. Says good morning, everyone.
Hey.
Cindy Patton is here. Good morning, Chris and Ash. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving from Bradenton, Florida. Well, thank you, Cindy. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving as well.
So sweet.
I think we're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Addicted to Antlers is here. Says good morning, everyone. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good morning.
Jeff Simmons is here. Says good morning. Hi, Jeff.
Hey.
There's my dad. I'm here. Pops is here. Hey, Dad.
Hey, Tony.
Hope you're sitting down and enjoying some coffee and hopefully watching along with us here. Low Carb Spin is here. Hi, Karen. Good morning to you. There is Cindy DeManch. Hello, everyone. And Cindy is another one of our Rockstar moderators. Cindy, I also saw your message. Glad you got that figured out. If you have any other questions, let me know.
Yeah.
And there is Marilda. Hello, good morning from Southern California. Hello, Marilda. I also got your email, and I am very glad that you got your knife from Knife Saga. Marilda was one of our winners in the giveaway and said she and her family were very excited about the knife, and she loves it. We're so glad that you got that and that you were enjoying it so much. If you guys did not know, I have a Knife Saga link in the description box of all of my videos. We partner with Knife Saga, and they are these amazing but very budget-friendly kitchen knives that any home chef would love to use. I love using them. That's what I cook with every single day. So they're fantastic. They did a huge giveaway on the channel, and they're going to be doing another giveaway, and I actually got some more details about that, and so you guys better stay tuned, because if you thought the first one was cool with the special deal that we had for everybody, I've got an even better deal for you coming. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really great. Sherry is here. Good morning to you, Sherry.
Good morning.
Sharon is here, says howdy.
Howdy.
And Billy Glover is here. Hi, Billy. I don't know if I remember seeing your name before, but if you've never tuned into a live, welcome. If you have, please remind me, because I'm just not remembering. But it says 60 pounds down in almost a year. I've never felt better.
Amazing.
Rock on, my friend Billy. That is amazing. Let's see if the phone will do it. Yeah, there it goes. Rock on, Billy. Very, very proud of you, my friend. We are so glad you're here. Crystal is here. Hello from Indiana. Well, hi, Crystal. What part of Indiana are you in? Because you know that's where I'm from. So would love to know what part of Indiana you're in. We're glad you're here. Robert Hanna is here. Good morning. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning.
Kelly Sue 3 is here. Happy Monday, she says.
Hello.
And Cindy DeManch says she is on both channels, of course. Well, thank you, Cindy. If you guys did not know, I have 2 channels, and I'm streaming this to both of them as well as my Facebook page today. If you are a part of my main Chris Cooking Nashville channel, but you do not subscribe to my second channel, which is Chris Cooking Nashville Studios, the link will be in the description box, and one of my moderators, I'm sure, will probably end up dropping it in too. But if you would do me a favor and subscribe to that Studios channel, my goal is that eventually these Monday morning motivations and all of my health type related videos will end up there. And then the main Chris Cooking Nashville channel will be just about the food, the recipes, the product things, like the kitchen stuff. And that way, people can choose one or the other, or they can subscribe and watch both, whatever. So if you like this kind of stuff, make sure you're subscribed to that Chris Cooking Nashville Studios channel, because eventually, once we get that channel built up and everybody knows that it's there, I want to move this stuff over there so everyone can kind of pick and choose what they like. So, yeah. Lewis Stone is here, says, good morning, see you on the replay. Well, good morning, Lewis.
Good morning.
And when you're watching this back on the replay, I hope you have a wonderful Monday. And Auntie says, hey, I actually got to sleep in my bed instead of a chair. First time in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
I'm so glad to hear that, Shauna.
Yeah.
I know that healing is a process, but we are praying that everything goes well and that you continue to heal quickly, and just hope that you're feeling better every day.
That's a big step, though.
That's
awesome.
a huge step. Absolutely. Absolutely. Margaret Chase is here, says, hi, I made it to a live. Good morning. Hi, Margaret. We're really glad you're here. And Janelle has a great question. Who here is doing all the cooking on Thursday? Yeah, I'm doing my cooking around here.
Well, I guess to be fair, your mom is going to help with desserts.
Yes, my mom is going to help with desserts because, I mean, you want to talk about somebody who knows their way around a dessert. She is amazing, and I know that she makes, like, keto desserts for things at the church all the time, and she takes them, and she's like, people don't even know they're keto.
Yeah.
They just love her stuff. So we gave her the task of making dessert for Thanksgiving. And because she's honestly better at it than I am. Like, I can cook my butt off, okay? Like, I know what I am doing, but, you know, every cook kind of has their thing that they're real good at. My dad is real good with a smoker and a grill.
Yep.
My mom is incredible with desserts, and apparently I'm really good with eggs. So, amongst some other things, but
eggs and meat you're really good at.
eggs and meat. That's my thing. So, yeah. So who else here is doing all the cooking on Thursday? And what are you guys making? I wanna get my mouth watering this morning. So tell us in the comments what you guys are making. Oh, apparently I'm giving you a thumbs up that's covering my face too.
Oh, it's funny. Also, shout out though to everyone who takes the time to cook for their family. No
Yes.
matter what it is on Thanksgiving. As someone who does not cook,
yes,
I think that is like, I mean, I always appreciate whenever Chris cooks for me, like every single day. Like, I know I'm very spoiled and blessed. Yeah. But that is such a big love thing to prepare such a big meal for so many people.
It is.
It's love. So thank you guys for doing that, because that
really
is a lot of work.
It really, really is. And we've talked about this before. Giving resources that you have that you need for survival instinctually as a human being in our brain, that is a way of caring for someone else, and then putting the time into it to try to not only give them resources that sustain them, but also to make them taste good and look nice and whatever. That's like an extra level of care. And I think just culturally, I think that's why cooking for people is so important for us as humans.
I agree.
So Recovering Foodie is here, and I love your name. I think that's so
really
cool.
Great.
Hi all from snowy South Dakota. Have a lovely week, folks. Yes, you
hello.
as well, and stay warm up there. Patricia Hoffman is here. Hi all, Grandma's here from sunny South Carolina.
Grandma Patricia in the comments. Good morning.
That's right. My dad says exactly, and laundry. Yep, yep. We were doing laundry here this morning. When I say we, I really mean the beautiful, gorgeous, angelic thing sitting next to me was doing laundry.
Tony, I feel your pain. I'm on my second load. Well, to be fair though, that's just how our marriage works, and honestly, it works out really well. So like Chris does pretty much all the cooking, because it's dangerous if I go in the kitchen.
You're not wrong.
And listen, I don't enjoy it, so I stay the hell out. I know my place. But I love to clean and I love to do dishes. So I clean the house. I make everything look pretty.
Yes.
I do the laundry.
Yes.
We have our roles, and it all works out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sharon says she is here checking in from Colorado Springs.
Hi,
Very
Sharon.
cool. Very, very cool. I used to live in Castle Rock with my parents, about halfway between Colorado Springs and Denver. If you guys didn't know, we lived in Colorado for a little while when I was a kid, so beautiful out there. And let's see, True Essentials Homestead is here. Good morning from our slice of heaven in Texas, Diane.
Ooh.
Thank you so much for being here, Diane. We need to come down your way and say hello to everybody.
That's
I haven't been to Texas before.
I have not either.
We'd love to come down there and play shows.
We're trying to come to Texas and Oklahoma next year. That's our goals.
Absolutely. Janelle says, please hit the like, everybody. Yes, please hit that thumbs up button for us. It just tells YouTube and Facebook and wherever else you might be that this is a valuable thing, and it tells other people that we're here, and it just helps us grow the community so we can help as many people as we can possibly reach, and that's the whole goal. So,
yep.
Recovering Foodie says, Janelle, I do the cooking most of the days.
You're a hero.
And let's see, Crystal is from Mooresville, Indiana. Oh, I don't know where Mooresville is. That's cool. I'm from the southeast corner down near like the Cincinnati, Ohio area, where Cincinnati, Ohio, and Kentucky, Indiana, where all three of those come together. I'm from the cornfields out in that way. So, Patricia says, Ash, love your sweatshirt.
Thank you so much. I have to brag. I don't know if she's in the comments or maybe we'll watch the replay, but if you guys know the name Carnivore K, I know you see her probably in the comments section all the time on a bunch of videos and live streams. They were so kind, and her husband came up to our house here in Nashville, and Kay was a taste tester in one of Chris's videos. Yep,
the carnivore stuffing that we just did a couple of weeks ago. If you have not seen that yet, go watch that. Kay is also adorable and wonderful in that video, and she was such a huge help. It was a joy having her.
It was. They were like the sweetest people, but they did not have to. They actually brought Mel some dog toys, which are her new favorites, and they got Chris and I these sweatshirts, and they are seriously like just the most comfortable, softest sweatshirts I've ever had in my whole life. I mean, we both say that. So thank you, though. So shout out to Carnivore K for the awesome sweatshirt this morning.
Really cool. They brought me one as well, and I have to say, it is the softest, on the inside, the softest sweatshirt I have ever owned in my entire life.
It is like beyond comfortable. Yeah, but it's really
and
sweet.
I'm like a big gruff guy. Like, I don't even usually worry about that kind of stuff. And I put this thing on, and I was like, oh my god,
it's amazing.
It's like a hug.
It is like a hug.
It's amazing.
Always around your shoulders.
22Q Cat wants to know, I can't really tell from the angle, but is that Mel with a little scarf on?
Yes, it is. Mel, come here. Come here. Can you sit up here for a second?
Come up here and...
Oh, she's going to show you her ball, too. There's a ball.
Come up here. Come up here and show the people.
Oh,
show the people.
Let's see. Can you get up here?
There we go.
Say hi, everybody.
There we go.
See, that's her little scarf. Mel loves. She's like, wait, I don't have my ball.
She's very unhappy about the fact you're taking her away from her ball on the floor.
We just got back from the park playing fetch. Mel does in the fall and in the winter. She is obsessed with scarves.
Little scarves, bandanas.
Whoa, scarves, bandanas. So she had a Halloween one. This is her Thanksgiving one. We have Grinch bandanas for Christmas.
Yep.
She's a total girl. We call them necklaces.
Yes.
I'm like, you want
if you
necklace?
Take it off of her, she gets so concerned. Like, what are you doing?
What do you do? And then when you put it on her, like when I like switch them out or clean them, she'll sit down and she'll like puff her chest, and she's very proud. She's a total girl. Very proud. She likes her necklaces, but little scarf on.
Auntie has a good question that others might be also interested in. Do you have a list of your usual lives? I need to set alarms. Yeah, so the only super consistent lives are the Monday Morning Motivation, which is at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, so that's 11 a.m. Eastern, or it would be 8 o'clock on the West Coast.
Right.
And then on Tuesday nights, I do Backstage with Chris, which is 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern. And then on Ash's stuff, we do Ash Wednesdays, and that is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 8 o'clock Eastern. So those are our three, like, every week we're doing, unless, something crazy happens. We have something weird that, changes. Normally, those are the three we do. And then some of the others, I do either randomly or when I've been doing, like, interviews and stuff. Those kind of change up a lot because it's really for... the schedule that works best with whoever it is I'm interviewing, or maybe it's like a random live I do that I just go live to answer questions, and it's sometimes not really even that planned out. I try to give notice when I can, but I don't always even know that I'm going to do it until 5 minutes before I start setting everything up. So the three main ones are just the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so it's Monday 10 a.m. Central, Tuesday 6 p.m. Central, Wednesday 7 p.m. Central.
Yep.
And then the other stuff, we kind of do different things, but we're going to hopefully kind of get some more of those Q&A type things rolling and maybe we'll have a more consistent schedule
Yeah.
going forward. But something else that I'll do too, Shauna, if you want, send me an email, info@chriscookingnashville.com, and I will add you in. I'm going to put together a email group with my moderators, and that way if there's something like happening, I can just shoot you all an email, say, by the way, I'm just going to do this thing if you're available, just so you know. That would probably be a smart thing. So Ash and I are working on building a lot of things coming in the new year. There's a lot of projects.
That's an understatement, but it's a really good thing. Also, because Thanksgiving is Thursday, do you know what I'm really thankful for? All of our awesome moderators.
Yes.
Like,
we cannot do what we do without
such
our
an
moderators.
amazing job. They are seriously incredible.
Yes. Speaking of our moderators, there's Cindy dropping in the Studios channel link for you guys. So, like I said, if you haven't subscribed there and you like this kind of stuff, please do. And there's a few health videos that I put up there, but it's one of the things in the new year we're going to be doing more of those health type videos.
So much more.
Crystal says, I'm cooking.
There you go, Crystal.
Cindy says, I'm doing the minimal cooking Thursday, but having my sister Deb make the gravy. There you go. That's right. Put Deb to work. I'm sure she'll love that. Actually, she probably will enjoy it, but I'm sure she'll give you some difficult times while she's doing it, because I wouldn't expect Deb to do anything less. So. Sherry says, Janelle, that is an easy question in the CCN household. It's very true. Very true. When Ash and I were dating and then we were talking about getting married, her brothers were like, if you and Chris get married, Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and all these times the family gets together and we have food and everything, like, it's going to be way better.
It's true. It's true. I call that marrying up. That's what we call that.
Amanda is here, says, good morning. I just made the noodles last night. I turned them into a baked spaghetti. Ooh. Thank you. Amanda, you are very welcome. I love that recipe, and it does work very well for things like baked spaghetti or all different kinds of pasta dishes. It's a fun recipe. So, Janelle makes a good point. It's easier to control healthy choices if you are doing the cooking.
Very true.
Absolutely. That's why I love to cook pretty much everything I eat. Linda is here, says, I made it to the live. I will be cooking our Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow since I'm working Thursday and Friday. Well, there you go. Get it in early and enjoy. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. Rickwin96 is here. Hi, folks. Hello, my friend. So glad you are here. And Janelle says, I'm cooking everything, all the usual. That's awesome. My mom is able to tune in, I'm sure, on mute in ISS as usual.
There you go.
There's the wave for my mom, because I'm sure she has it muted. And Jeff Simmons says, I will be doing all the cooking, including all the non-carnivore stuff. I'm cooking a 22-pound turkey and a smoked prime rib. That sounds
delicious.
Amazing. I'm doing I think it's about a 15-pound turkey or so that I've got. And if you guys have not seen my turkey video that just came out a couple days ago, that's what I'm going to be doing. In fact, I'm probably going to be deboning that today, later on today. So I got to get that going a few days ahead of time because it has to dry brine and all that. If you want to see what I did and you haven't watched it yet, go watch that turkey video, because it is... I'll let her tell you how good it is.
It is the best turkey I've ever had in my life. It was seriously so good. I mean, just even the white meat was just like juicy and tender. It was so good. And if you like bacon, he does some amazing things with bacon in that video. So it's great. Check it out.
Yes. Cindy says, I have a pre-cooked turkey breast. Yeah, I know. LOL. Cindy, I'm not going to give you a look of disappointment or anything here, because I listen, I get it. I get it. I understand. It's okay. No judgment. Now, if Dustin was here, he might be judging you, but, but that's just, I'm hoping maybe if we talk about him, his ears will burn and maybe he'll tune in, so.
Just poke the bear a little bit.
Yep. Heating it and making your mashed potatoes. Deb has not had them yet. I'd love to know what Deb thinks when she has them. And a cauli cheese casserole. Very cool. Of course, some kind of keto dessert.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Wonderful. It's
like that.
That's a very well-rounded Thanksgiving dinner. I like that.
It sure is. Absolutely.
Recovering Foodie says, over a year on carnivore and I'm shaking things up. Lobster tails and deboned turkey breast.
Ooh.
That's awesome. Well, Recovering Foodie, make sure you go check out my turkey video, because if you're already planning on deboning your turkey breast, I might have a technique or two in there you could incorporate that might make it even that much better. So
I agree. It's awesome.
Yep.
It's great.
Very, very cool. Rick Wynn says, I'm not cooking this year. My cousin is putting together something. We'll be going to the rehab to see my aunt who is recovering from a fall. Well, I'm sorry for your aunt recovering, but that's wonderful. You guys are going to get to go see her, and totally understand someone putting something together like that. That's cool. So I hope you guys enjoy the time you get to spend with her, and hope that she recovers very well. Amanda says, we're having skewers. I'm making ribeye, turkey, and shrimp skewers. That's awesome.
Sounds
I
really
love
good.
that idea. So the ribeye and the turkey, by the way, if you salt them ahead of time and you dry brine those, like I did in my turkey video, that will make your ribeye and your turkey taste that much better.
It sure
just
will.
saying, just an idea. I mean, you're already going to season them anyway, I would assume. So just a thought. It's just a way to step it up, and you don't have to do it for like a day or anything like I did. If you're already cutting pieces and putting together skewers like that, you could salt that and dry brine that for like 6 to 8 hours, and that would be amazing.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. Auntie says, not cooking this year. My nieces are making 2 special keto dishes for me, though. One savory and one dessert. Well,
that's very sweet.
Awesome. What a cool thing when your family is supportive like that. That's amazing. Lynn says, I get that about the desserts and your mom. I was always the dessert maker and eater back in the sad days, always taking goodies to work, etc. Keto desserts are a little trickier. They are. I don't do a lot of keto recipes on my channel, but I'm actually considering doing some more. Would you guys like to see more keto recipes? I'm not going to take away my carnivore recipes. That will be there. But would you like me to add maybe a few occasional extra keto recipes for you guys? If that's the case, if you would like to see that, maybe I can do that. And then I might be able to get a little bit of practice with the keto desserts. Not that I do that a lot, but I'm thinking we could do some keto dessert type stuff that I could experiment with. Maybe we could have guest taste testers who eat that stuff more regularly than I would, and might be able to, do something like that. That might be kind of fun. So if you guys would like that, drop that in the comments. Let us know if you'd like to see more keto recipes, and specifically, would you like some keto? I would do, of course, savory things as well, but would you like to see some keto desserts along with that? So just let us know. Happy to do whatever I can to help you guys. So. Might even be able to get my mom to share a couple of her recipes.
There you go.
So.
There you go.
Sherry says, used to do huge Thanksgiving family gatherings. Now it's just me, so very laid back. I may make some CCN mashed taters and chicken of some kind. Very cool. Well, Sherry, whatever chicken you do, consider doing a dry brine on that, because it makes poultry so much better. So much better. It really, really does. You are breathing very loudly. Do you know that? This dog, I'm sitting here, and it's like I just feel hot air just puff, 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 puff on my arm here.
She went to the park. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
You gotta get your exercise in, babe.
She definitely needs her exercise.
Yeah.
Let's see. Auntie says she's on her cell, so she can't tag today. Well, no worries. That's not a problem. I watch a lot of these things on my cell, and I find that to be so annoying sometimes that you can't tag people in comments on the cell phone version of YouTube. You have to be on a computer. Like it's so like, come on, YouTube, like you guys can do that. I'm sure you've got brilliant resources. You got brilliant people there. I'm sure that would be easy enough to do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cindy says, I am from Cincinnati, Ohio. Yes, I remember us talking about that. And Cindy's from my neck of the woods originally. So, Rick Wynn says she's recovering from a cracked pelvis and a broken tailbone. Been very painful for her, but things are beginning to get better. Well, I'm glad that there's improvement. I'm so sorry about that. That is no fun.
It's rough.
Recovering Foodie says, I'm kind of intrigued by Cassie at Carnivore Quest's carnivore tiramisu-ish dessert. If I can find mascarpone anywhere. Yeah, I saw that. It's interesting. It's kind of a combination of a cheesecake fluff and a pork rind crust and I don't really know what you would call the top layer, sort of a whipped egg white cream, sort of a baked thing. So it's interesting. Cool. It's interesting. Rockin' Keto. Amy is here saying hi to everybody. Good to see you, Amy. We're really glad you're here. Billy Glover says, beautiful puppy. Well, thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
Amanda is here, says, good morning from Amarillo, Texas. First live, our family shares the task of cooking. Well, Amanda, I am so glad you are here, and I think that's really cool that the family shares the task of cooking, because there is something special about being in the kitchen with all of the family and everybody contributing and doing things. And honestly, this is how kids learn to cook. This is why so many people don't know how to cook, because previous generations didn't do this. This is how everyone used to learn to cook. Your mother, your grandmother, your even father or uncle or whoever it is that cooks whatever would take the kids and teach them how to do these recipes.
Yeah.
It's how family recipes were handed down and how people learned to cook. And that's just not really done very much anymore. So I think it's awesome that you guys are doing that. I will definitely, if Ash and I ever have the joy of having kids, we will definitely have them in the kitchen with me. So
definitely.
Doramel, hee hee.
That's cute.
Yes.
I see she's now taking her spot.
Oh yeah, right in the center of the screen for everybody to watch.
Yeah.
Janelle says Mel is a fashionista.
She's something.
She's something.
She's something, yeah.
She's something. Sharon says, I like Castle Rock. I used to hike Castlewood Canyon. I'm 80 and on oxygen.
Oh, wow.
Well, that would make it a lot harder to hike, I'm sure. But yeah, it's beautiful out there. So let's see. Lynn says that's hilarious. Mel actually wants those scarves on Little Diva.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she loves scarves. She's a diva for sure.
Scarves and collars, man. But if you try to put like a sweater or something like that on her, that's a no-go.
Yes.
So I don't know how that works, but scarves and all that, great. You put like a sweater on her, she's out.
Yes.
So.
Rockin' Keto Amy says, I think I just got hubby to agree to buy me a food processor off of CCN's Amazon link. I'm still working on the creamy for ice cream. I think I had him at Noodle, LOL. Yes, I'm telling you, if you get that food processor, that Cuisinart 14-cup food processor for that recipe, and so many others that I use a food processor for, you will not be disappointed. It does an amazing job. It seems like a very simple tool.
Yeah.
But it's great.
Oh, yeah. And Chris uses his, like, I swear, every day.
Multiple days a week?
I think it's almost like every day at this point.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes it's multiple times throughout a day. I mean, so you'll really like it.
I actually have, so my video that's going to be coming out the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Is turkey salad, what to do with all that leftover turkey that so many people have. And it's a shout out to my mom here, because it's really based on her teaching me how to do it. So that's going to be coming out. I used the food processor for grinding up the turkey in that because I love the texture that gives it. Also, I have a recipe after that, which is going to be real special. You guys have been asking me for something special for months, and I think I have a version of it that's going to be more than acceptable. I think it's going to be amazing. We had some friends over for dinner, and I made this. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is just yet. I made this, and the friends we had over, it's a husband and wife. The husband, he has been carnivore now for a long time, and he's kind of loosened up a little bit because he wants some more variety in his diet now, and he feels good. So they come over, and I do that kind of stuff, you know, recipes, maybe a little bit of a ketovore vibe here and there on a couple of things. And I made this, and he took a bite, and his eyes lit up, and he said, I had no idea I was even missing this. And he's like, I'm feeling like I'm going to cry. Yeah. Because he was so excited about it. So you guys make sure to stick around, because not this coming Saturday, but the next one is going to be something real special. And if you guys see that video, and you would do me a favor and share it, because I want to get it out there, because it has been a request for a long time. So we're going to put that out, and it's going to be amazing. But I use the food processor for that too. Yep. And it's awesome. Yeah, does an amazing job. You'll love that. Good husband. You got really there. Really well. You really will. And it's cool. It's not the most expensive food processor. It's not the cheapest food processor. It's on the upper range of the mid food processors. So it's definitely more expensive than the average food processor, but it's way better. Yeah. And it's not one of those, like, you're paying for the brand specifically kind of thing, because there are food processors that are more expensive that do not work as well as tested by America's Test Kitchen. And it's just because of the names. So apparently I'm thumbs-upping my face again. So there we go. Honey, they like your face. It's real cute. Something like that. Crystal says, Southwest Indiana. Okay, so my grandparents and I used to go vacation. We used to camp down at Patoka Lake.
Yeah.
Which is down in the southern part of Indiana, kind of somewhere over in that range. So, very cool. Sharon says, oops, I sent it early, so I only sit and take in nature now and watch grandchildren climb the rocks.
Nice.
Love it. That's a great way to enjoy, though. What a wonderful way to get out and get fresh air and, encouraging your grandkids to be out and active and all that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. Crystal says, I just made more butter mayo for our deviled eggs. Yeah, there you go. Guys, if you didn't know, I have a spreadable butter mayo that comes out of the fridge, spreadable. So if you make butter mayo and it turns hard, I've got the solution for that. I actually have 2 videos doing the same thing on my channel because the first one was one of the first recipes on my channel I did way back in the day, and the video was awful. I'm so sorry.
It was
really
bad.
The second one is much, much better, and I actually did the butter mayo version, and then I did a Miracle Whip kind of version as well. And so you get kind of 2 for the price of 1 there. So that spreadable butter mayo, it makes amazing things, including deviled eggs that don't get hard if you stick them in the fridge.
And they're tasty.
They're tasty.
They're tasty.
They're tasty. And it's butter. Like, who doesn't want more butter in their world?
I don't know. People that suck. I don't know.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's see. Rockin' Keto Amy says, my birthday is in March. Well, there you go.
There you go.
There's when you start saying, hey, ice cream time.
Yeah. So you can get the food processor for Christmas.
Right.
And the creamy for your birthday in March.
Right. Exactly.
This makes total sense.
There you go. Margaret says, my daughter and I go out for Thanksgiving. Where we go, there's a buffet, which makes it easier to choose the right food. That's awesome. That's
great.
Awesome. Great idea. That's the thing. I think a lot of people get weirded out by the whole buffet thing when they're doing keto and carnivore, because it's like, well, buffets were like part of our standard American diet, binge eating kind of days with junk. But if you pick the right buffets, you can actually go places and eat pretty keto or even carnivore if you just choose the right things.
Absolutely.
So if you're like Margaret and you've got the ability to just go to a buffet and have self-control to choose the right items on there, that's a great way to do it. So,
absolutely.
If Ash and I were on the road and we were struggling all of a sudden, like, to figure out what we were going to eat and there was just nothing, I wouldn't be against if I had to go on someplace to a buffet like a Golden Corral or something.
Yeah, it works.
Just only picking certain things. Like, it's a tool.
It's a great thing about buffets.
Yep, absolutely. Jackie is here, says, good morning from rainy Oregon coast. Planning an RV move to South Central Oregon for family Thanksgiving. Big project to move. Planning some CCN recipe projects for the big day. That is awesome, Jackie.
It's awesome. Great.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Rockin' Keto Amy says, Chris, don't be offended at this, but I rewatched your turkey video with my parents. My mom was in shock, and she called the flattened turkey roadkill turkey. I'm still going to try it. She's silly. So what's funny is I'm actually not offended. I'm complimented because I did a version of that with chicken, not nearly to the extent that I did the turkey with, like, frying the skin, but I just did an air-fried chicken recipe that I deboned the exact same way, and I actually called it roadkill chicken.
Yep.
I totally agree with her. It looks like it's been run over by a truck.
Here's the thing. Food needs to look a certain way, though. I get it. Let her taste that turkey. Okay? Because, I mean, that's the thing is, like, and the thing is, too, without the bones and stuff, it is so much more enjoyable to eat.
It really
is. Especially for family, like when you have little kids. That was the thing when I was a kid, it's like they'd serve you turkey, and then they'd have to try to cut around all the bones. And make sure
carving is a pain in the butt with a turkey.
It's so much. But, like, the way that you debone it and stuff, it's
you do all the work on the front end so that the work on the back end is way easier. And because I take all the tendons out of the leg and thigh, when you go to eat the dark meat, like, you can just cut off chunks and just chew it. Like, there's no, like, trying to pull off the dark meat from the bone, and none of those, like, connective tissues that are hard and chewy in there. You're not spitting things out.
It's like so much more enjoyable
to
eat.
Much better.
And honestly, I think too, you kind of get more meat.
Yes.
Because you're not trying to rip stuff off of a bone.
Right.
I mean, like, think about how hard you try to get a bone clean when you're eating any kind of poultry.
The other thing is when you do that, so because you open up all the turkey, one, it cooks a lot faster. So it takes what would be a 2 to 3 hour project and makes it a 1 hour project, which is anytime you can save some time in the kitchen, especially on Thanksgiving with the turkey. That's great because it's much easier to plan your whole Thanksgiving cooking thing when the turkey is taking like an hour to 2 hours based on the size. instead of like 3 to 4 based on the size. Like you start cutting off that extra time, you don't have to put it in as early, which means you don't have to figure out all the other stuff even earlier. Like there's all kinds of benefits. Also, when you open that turkey up and you get the seasoning directly on the meat, it tastes like something.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't taste like just, bleh. And one of the solutions to that people use is wet brining, where you put the whole turkey down inside of a big tub full of a brine and you stick it in the fridge. That's great, except now you have a huge turkey in a great big bucket full of liquid taking up space in your fridge at the busiest time your fridge probably sees all year. Like, there's a lot of things that are so beneficial to doing it that way, and it is just so much better. It is so much easier. Plus, when you can dry brine instead of wet brine, it makes it a lot easier to get that skin crispy, and then you can do that frying of the skin like I did.
Which makes such a big difference.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It's like turkey chicharrones.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And after it sits for a little bit, it softens up again, but even then you still have that fried skin taste. So good.
It's so good.
So amazing.
So good.
So, yes, I'm not offended at all. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks...
It means you named the chicken right the first time.
Well, and that's the thing. It looks like roadkill because it's flattened out, but man, I'm telling you, it is the best way to make poultry. I have made poultry every single way you can. And you can take a turkey deboned like that, and you can actually stuff it and roll it again and do like a roasted roulade style turkey. You can totally do that. But this is better.
I'd agree.
It really is. I've done roulades with poultry and they're good, but this is better for sure. And Amy says, I can't wait to debone a chicken. Yeah, chicken is a great place to start.
Yeah.
Amber's Corner 2.0 is here. Says, hi guys, we canceled Thanksgiving and are doing lazy keto giving instead. With your channel and the others, it's going to be tasty. I love that.
That's awesome. It's great.
That's awesome. Amy says, I'm making CCN's carnivore mashed potatoes for sure. Yeah, that's a staple for these kinds of things. Cindy says, my whole family is up in Ohio, so I'm by myself for Thanksgiving, making a big ribeye and carnivore cheesecake.
Oh, that sounds awesome, Cindy.
Sounds like a fantastic meal to me. Cindy Demand says, Chris, you can cook for me anytime. That deboning looks amazingly time-consuming, LOL. I actually had somebody ask me this the other day. They said, how long did it take you to do that? And I said, well, I'm filming. And I've got a phone, like, between my face, the turkey is down here, and I've got a phone looking down at it, so I'm, like, trying to, like, look around my phone as I'm doing this, and I was trying to explain each step, so it took me probably 30 to 40 minutes to debone that turkey, because I was filming. If I wasn't filming, 5 to 10 minutes max.
And I can attest to that, because Chris has started deboning pretty much anytime we eat poultry, anything.
It's pretty rare that chicken, I don't debone.
Yeah, because I just prefer it that way, and he's totally down too. It's worth it. And so, but I would say that I've seen you do, like whole chickens in like 10 minutes.
Right.
Easily. Right. Easily.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, like when I debone like that, it takes me 5 to 7 minutes to get the bones out of the bird and it's ready to go, and then it takes me a few more minutes for cleanup and setting it up to dry brine. I mean, it just the first time you do it, it takes longer, so you have to leave yourself extra time. But if you're not in a rush, it's very simple. It just takes a little bit of practice and a few tries, but you just kind of have to figure it out the first time, because like any new skill, it takes practice. But once you've done it once or twice, it just keeps getting easier. It's the same as making my noodles. Every time I make them, it just gets faster. So it's just a thing that just takes a little practice. So all good. Hey, Dustin's in the house. I'm here late, but I'm here. Well, thanks for finally showing up, Dustin.
Oh, stop it.
I gotta give him a hard time.
Dustin, ignore my husband. You're fine.
Patricia has a great question. It says, when dry brining, how much airspace is needed underneath the meat? I have glass refrigerator shelves. The only space you need under the meat is just enough for air. I mean, so like 1/4 of an inch is plenty. So what I would recommend you do, if you have glass refrigerator shelves, is you put a cookie sheet down and you just put like a cooling rack of some kind and you set it on there. It creates just a little 1/4 of an inch. It's just enough for the air to get around it.
Cool.
That's all you need.
Awesome.
All you need. That's what I used to do. The only reason I use the mini fridge with those removable shelves now is because they sent me the fridge to review, and I'm like, well, I don't do beverages on my channel, really. I mean, it's like I don't have like a bar channel.
Right.
Like, I don't need a mini fridge or a wine cooler or any of these things for that purpose because it's not what I do. But I said, if you want to send me this mini fridge, I've got a cool idea. And so I kind of turned it into a dry brining chamber. And since the shelves are removable, I just put the meat directly on the shelf and then I throw it in the dishwasher. That's just what I do.
Just makes it easy.
You don't have to do that. Before I did that, I used to put a cookie sheet with a cooling rack in our main refrigerator. It just made it difficult because I'm cooking all the time for the channel, so I have all this stuff in the refrigerator. I just ran out of space. But you can totally do that. Cookie sheet and a cooling rack. That's all you need. So, and if you don't have a cookie sheet, if you can just get a cooling rack, you can set a cooling rack directly on your shelf and then put down like some paper towel or plastic wrap underneath of it that you can just clean that up for whatever might drip. So, whatever it is, yeah, whatever it is that works for you. So, let's see. Cindy says, "Hey, Dustin made it. His ears must have been burning." That's right.
That's awesome.
That's right. Amber's Corner 2.0 says, "Yes, add keto recipes. Excellent.
Awesome.
Can do." Sherry also says, "Yes, more keto, please." And Cynthia says, "Lactose intolerant here, so maybe less cream." Yeah. I can try to do dairy-free recipes. I'll tell you, it is tough to do dairy-free and also carnivore. Because if you take dairy away from doing carnivore, you're basically left with meat, eggs, and gelatin. And it's tough. But if I do some more keto stuff, dairy-free becomes a lot easier.
I think that's great.
A lot easier. Yeah. So we'll see what we can do. Amanda says, "Already on the dry brine. Things are open air in the fridge before they go in the soak. I am prepping all of the skewers on Wednesday."
Love it.
Perfect. Perfect. Lynn says, "The more keto recipes, the merrier."
The merrier. Awesome.
Keto Simple, Dustin has a great comment. "I think keto carnivore crossover recipes would be awesome." Yeah, if you guys watch my latest videos, I'm starting to do things where it's like, if you're carnivore, stop here. And then if you're keto and want to make it seem a little more like the traditional thing, then you add these things. I'm starting to do some more of that because I want to try to give as many options for as many people as I can. So if you have ideas like that, please let me know what you would like to see.
I think too, Dr. Berry talks about how the proper human diet is a spectrum, and it's just kind of all about finding where we all sit on the spectrum, and every person is different. So I think giving just the whole community, low carb community as a whole, different options is just a way we can include everybody and not fit people into stereotypes of carnivore. Just trying to make it more accessible for everybody, no matter where you are on the spectrum.
Absolutely. And Dustin and Victor and I are all working together with this whole Keto Crusade thing, which is about connecting the community across the spectrum. So I'm using recipes, Victor's using recipes, Dustin is using some simple recipe stuff, but he's more of like a community and information guy.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to put these things together to connect people across the community to realize we all have more in common than we have that's different. And we should work together on these things. Amen. So, we can definitely do some stuff like that. Jeff says, "Could you describe the dry brine on the ribeye, please?" Yeah. So take a ribeye, season it with salt the way that you would if you were about to cook it. Set it on a cooling rack or something else in the refrigerator so air can circulate all around it. It's not covered, it's not wrapped, nothing. Ribeye, salt, however much salt you would normally season it with. Leave it for at least 24 hours in open air circulating around it in the refrigerator. Take it out, finish seasoning the way you normally would, and cook like you want to cook a ribeye.
It's delicious.
That's it. That's all you have to do. But what happens is the salinity works its way all the way through the meat fibers, because when you have a cell, which is what a meat is, right? It's a cell. When you have a higher concentration of salt outside of a cell than you do inside, because of the whole osmosis process, that salinity moves across the cell wall into the moisture that's inside the cells. So it actually works its way all the way through the meat, seasons the steak all the way through, and then by increasing the salinity and letting it dry, it slightly ages that protein. It changes the protein structure slightly, which tenderizes the meat. It also makes it hold on to moisture better when you cook it, which keeps it juicier. And you get this outside area of the steak that is now dried off, which means when you go to sear it, you get a better brown crust. It's a trifecta of amazing things. So that's what I do. And you can do this with, the only thing I wouldn't probably do that with is seafood, because seafood doesn't really need that. But if you do chicken, beef, pork, venison, you can do this with all of those kinds of meats, no problem.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, Jackie says, did I mishear or miss out coming in late that there might be a new CCN turkey gravy recipe video coming? I don't have a new turkey recipe or turkey gravy recipe. I have an old turkey gravy recipe from last year that very few people watched. I eventually will probably give you guys another way of making gravy that I've been playing around with. I don't have time to get a new version of it out for Thanksgiving. Yeah. But I do have a new kind of simpler way of doing gravy if you have broth left over, which I will gladly show you guys. So, but probably not before Thanksgiving. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, you also have the new turkey video.
I do. I have the new turkey video, I have the new stuffing video, and then I have my old turkey gravy, which is still amazing.
Yep.
So
I would say... And then lots of cool videos coming up.
Yeah, and lots of other stuff coming up. So. Auntie is looking forward to when she can cook again. Absolutely. Cindy says, all of your recipes are welcomed in this house, Chris. Well, thank you very much, Cindy. Let's see. Janelle says, I thought that Basque cheesecake was brilliant. One version savory and carnivore, the other sweet and keto. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the kind of stuff I'm trying to do more and more of. So, Natalie Sanders wants to know, what is butter mayo? So butter mayo is just mayo that is made with butter instead of the seed oils that most people make it with. Now, butter when it's cold is solid. Things like soybean oil and canola oil and all these other seed oils that are junk, those are liquid even when they're cold. So when you make butter mayo, if you stick it in the fridge, which you need to because it's fresh mayo, it will go bad if you don't. If you stick it in the fridge, it turns into a rock hard lump because the butter resolidifies. My spreadable butter mayo recipe solves that problem, so you can make it, refrigerate it, and it remains spreadable, so you can use butter as the base of your mayo instead of those junky seed oils. You can actually even do it with bacon grease. I've had people tell me they use bacon grease to make it instead of butter.
Yeah. So. And if they haven't already, maybe one of our awesome moderators could drop the link for Chris's butter mayo recipe.
Absolutely.
And that way Natalie can watch the video and check it out and see if that's something she might be interested in. But
absolutely.
It's really good. I love it. Such good stuff.
Absolutely. And, Dustin, you are very kind. He says, congratulations, although he says congregations. But on 110K subscribers, I love the typos. That's so funny. Thank you so much. Yeah, we just crossed 110 yesterday, and we're continuing on up, folks. We're just growing. Thank you guys for sharing and everything that you do.
I think we're at 5.3 million.
We're a little over 5.3 million views as of yesterday morning when I checked. So guys, awesome. It's amazing. We are so blessed to get to do this. Sherry says, Patricia, I don't make anything special for the pups. I have a friend who keeps us stocked with doggy chicken and beef jerky. They're pretty spoiled. That's cool. If you guys didn't know, we do have a dog food recipe.
We sure do.
Miss Ash over here actually cooked for you guys. So she and I developed that for our pupper back here, and we wanted to share it, so that's there as well. And Dustin's giving himself a hard time for spelling congratulations wrong. It's okay. It's Dustin, all good.
It's still early, man. It's all good.
I was going to say, I'm just trying to wake up still.
We haven't even finished our coffee, dude. So
yeah. Cindy says, woohoo, 110K. Killing it, Chris and Ash. We are certainly trying. Well, here's the deal. It's really all because of you guys and the fact that you share and like and all these things. By the way, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Speaking of sharing and liking, please hit the thumbs up. Let people know you are here, and feel free to share this with anyone who might be interested in this. So I love this. Lynn says, Natalie Sanders, what is butter mayo, you ask? It's heaven. Chris has a recipe.
There you go.
Yes, and there's Janelle with the butter mayo recipe. Thank you.
Janelle. You're the best.
Dustin says, spell check for a not win. That's right.
Not win.
That happens. It's okay. Shirley Miller is here, says, love and light greetings from Medic Shirley Girl, Beaver Lodge, Alberta, Canada. Only negative 31.
Woo! That's a little cold.
Stay warm up there, Shirley. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Auntie says, LOL, I am so not a turkey fan. My brother makes me roast or ham. Listen, I'm not a turkey fan either unless I'm the one who makes it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Very true.
I grew up thinking turkey was terrible, and then I did what I do, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't actually have to be. It can be amazing if you do it right. Let's see. Recovering Foodie says, give the video thumbs up, y'all. Yes, please. Sherry says, it's important to have a good food processor for CCN noodles. My cheaper one was a bit of a fail. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the thing. Like when we're in uncharted water here, and unfortunately, protein is very different to work with than all of the starches that we're all used to in these kinds of recipes.
Yeah.
You just have to have some good kitchen gear, and you don't have to have a lot of things. But there are a handful of tools that you just can't compromise on. There's just no way to do it. A blender and a food processor are both ones that there's no way I'd do it without it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but they're worth saving the money if you can. Platte River Keto's here, says, good morning, friends. Good morning to you, my friend. Amber's Corner says, my 13-year-old is going to be cooking keto Thanksgiving. She is super excited, takes it very seriously. Just bought her a stand mixer today. She loves keto. That is amazing. I am
really
so
sweet.
Glad that you were teaching your kids to do that. That's amazing.
What? That's just awesome.
It's wonderful. Also, good for you for letting her take this seriously and go after it, because that's the kind of thing where at 13 years old, one, you develop a skill that's going to be used the rest of your life, but two, that can very quickly turn into a passion that turns into maybe a career or a hobby or something very important later on. The reason that I ended up being a YouTube chef professionally is because my mom taught me to cook from the time I was old enough to sit upright, and she would sit me on the counter and I would help her in the kitchen, and food just became an element of my personality and my identity. And now all these years later, here I am, and this is what I do for a living. Like, it's really incredible. You never really know the kind of impact that can have. Janelle says, Chris just did a new version of Gravy on a Tuesday Night Live, but I'm not finding the link quickly. So I did a Tuesday Night Live where I used Gravy. I did not show the gravy. The only place I've done Gravy was the new one was a Dr. Barry live stream, which I actually did in the private group with Dr. Barry. If you guys are not part of that group, Dr. Barry and Nisha have an incredible group called the Proper Human Diet Community, and I am a member there just because I support all the work they do. I'm very much credit my knowledge of carnivore and a lot of keto things and sort of saving my life with the information that they put out. So we love them, we support them, and they asked me if I would occasionally do some private live streams for tribe members. So once a month I do private live streams in the Dr. Barry group, and we did a new version of Gravy in there. So a very simple, very specific to the Proper Human Diet community type gravy. That was really, really great.
It was really good.
Yeah.
If I can also ask a question really quick while we have folks here and watching. So Christmas is clearly right around the corner, and Chris and I were trying to plan out videos to release in the month of December.
Yep.
And so I'm curious, since we were talking about this and trying to plan, are there certain things that you would like for your Christmas or New Year's holiday season that you would love a keto and or carnivore version? Drop it in the comments below. Like, let us know what foods you wish there was a keto or carnivore substitute for.
Absolutely.
And maybe we could get some ideas and see what we can do.
See if I can make it happen.
Yeah.
No guarantees, but I'd give it a shot.
Absolutely. But just curious.
Yeah. Cindy says your butter mayo is delicious. Thank you, Cindy.
Is.
Yeah, I could eat that stuff by the spoonful. Platte River Keto says, ear hustling while I work. Glad that I caught you. Well, I'm glad you caught us too.
Yeah.
Very glad you caught us. Nan is here, says happy Thanksgiving from Columbia, Tennessee. Hi, Nan. You're not too far away from us.
You're real close.
Yep. Linda's got to jump off, but says happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Bye, Linda. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your Thanksgiving very much. Robin is here, Carnivorous Grandma. Hey, y'all.
Robin.
If you guys did not know, Robin has a channel called Carnivorous Grandma. We actually did an interview with her. You guys should totally go subscribe to her channel because she is a sweetheart and we love her very much. Easy Peasy Keto is here. Hi, Stacy. Good to see you. Good morning from Chile, Ohio. Today we are warmest day for the next 10. Brr. Hope everyone has a blessed Thanksgiving day. Well, stay warm up there. We love you guys. Auntie says, I might like chicken if I try that. Making a try this list for when I can cook again. Yeah.
There you go.
I really think you will. I really think you will. I could be wrong, but I think there's a good chance. Patricia says you can always roll the turkey back up and tie with kitchen twine when your mom's around. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I still think it's better when you cook it flat, personally.
I know
it looks a little weird. It cooks more evenly.
Yeah.
It tastes better. It's easier to season. It's easier to get it cooked perfectly. But, you do what you got to do if it's a thing.
Yeah.
Reese's Cluttered Kitchen says, I just don't have the time to debone the turkey. It's only 3 of us at this point, so I smoke a turkey breast and some turkey wings, and we are happy. Hey, if it works for you, that's all you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Robin says, hi, I love to spatchcock poultry. I assume that's what I came in on. Delicious. So spatchcocking is where you remove the spine and you flatten out the bird. I totally debone the entire bird. So it is just a solid one chunk turkey that is all meat and no bones. So if you haven't seen my newest turkey video, go check that out, Robin. You might find that interesting and maybe pick up a tip that you might want to try sometime.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sherry says, Nevada was a border collie. Vids of her on my channel. I now have another border collie and a basset hound lab. They're both huge water pups and keep me busy. I'm a retired dog trainer.
No.
Yeah, Sherry loves her dogs.
I like dogs too, Sherry.
Cindy says, here's a turkey gravy recipe from a year ago. I cannot find the one from Tuesday either, but here. Yeah, so that's the one from a year ago, and yeah, I did not do one on a Tuesday night. I used gravy, but I did not actually show how to make it. It was for something else on a Tuesday Night Live, so.
Yeah.
Auntie wants to know, would that work for a Cornish hen or too small? Yes, it can work on a Cornish hen. Now, I will say, because it is smaller, it's harder to do. The smaller the bird, actually, the harder it gets because it's such fine work. It's much easier with a bigger bird. So I would suggest a chicken. That would be...
Start there.
Yeah, start with a chicken. And, I mean, you can start with a turkey, but if you're just nervous about it and you think you're going to ruin your whole turkey, which if you're slow about it, you just take your time and just do it one little bit at a time and don't be in a rush, you're not going to ruin anything. Just follow the video and, do it a little at a time. It's really not hard. But if you're nervous about it, I understand. Just start with a chicken instead. So, but you can totally do a Cornish game hen. It's just, you have to really be able to do it well because it's softer, so it can tear easily. It's also easier to accidentally cut through something you didn't mean to, just because it's so small. But that's how I do Cornish game hens for us.
That's awesome.
So, let's see. Dustin says, once you're practiced, it's going to be quick. That's correct. Practice makes perfect. Lynn says, I made your noodles so many times and have the recipe memorized. I hereby challenge you to a noodle making contest, Chris. I've gotten really fast at it. Let's do it, Lynn.
Oh,
let's do it.
My money's on Lynn.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
Robin says, oh, we're deboning. Yes, that's right. That's right. Amy says, Patricia, that's a great idea. I'm still going to do this, not this year, but I'm going to tell her next year we are having roadkill turkey.
Mix it up.
Love it. Beverly is here, says, watch Dustin's Sunday video just before I joined you guys. Well, hi, Beverly.
Awesome.
Thank you for catching up on Dustin's Sunday Live and then jumping over here and joining us. We appreciate that. Amy says, I love your carnivore keto crossover recipes. I'm more ketovore. Well, awesome. We can definitely do more of that.
There you go.
And Robin says, I'm doing some crossover keto carnivore recipes too. That's awesome. I think a lot of people are starting to do more of that stuff, especially around holidays,
Yeah.
The dogma in the carnivore community seems to be dying off a little bit. I think people are finally learning to slow their roll and chill out a little bit.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying I had any part in that. I'm just saying I've been telling people to knock it off and quit acting like fools. So
yeah.
No, I've seen a lot of the bigger creators though are even saying guys, stop beating people up. Let people do what works for them. This may be an ultimate way of doing it, but that doesn't mean we need to tear everybody down. Let's all take a deep breath. Let's calm down. So
I like it.
We're just here to support everybody, and that's what we care about. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for me, I won't do it. If it does work for me, I will. But how am I going to know if I don't try?
That's right.
There we go. Lynn says, hope he doesn't take me up on it, Shauna. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Dustin says, he'll have you down to make it happen. Lynn, you want to come to Nashville and be in a video, you come anytime. I got an air mattress and with your name on it and a dog that would probably be happy to jump in bed with you and cuddle.
Yeah.
So you can take my YouTube cave and I'll put the air mattress down and you can just have your own little space, your own bathroom, everything.
Have a noodle off.
Anytime you want. Anytime you want. Patricia says, Professor Chris is in the house. Love your explanations. Well, thank you, Patricia. I just try to give you guys the info that has helped me be able to do what I do so that you can do it too. That's all it really comes down to. So Jackie says, I agree with Dustin and Keto. Simple crossover recipes like your cheesecake recipe make it easy to find your own place on the Lion, carnivore, keto, low carb spectrum. You see how she wrote that out? How it's a spectrum. We're all one big family, and we just find the place that works for us. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie. I'm going to give you one of those right there. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
You're having too much fun with these today.
Listen, you got to have a good time. So, Carrie is here. Good morning, Carrie. Says, can hardly see Chris cook in Nashville since he's the Flash. He just zoomed by me. He says, why did the parfait go to art school? Wanted to master the perfect blend of flavors.
Oh, that's funny.
Love it. Let's see. Robin says, I'm making Chris a carnivore stuffing for myself.
Nice.
Amazing. Martha says, can't wait to try the turkey recipe. All your others are so good. I'm telling you what, that turkey recipe, it looks like a lot of work, but it's just the work on the front end because the back end is much easier. So it's just where do you want to do the work, front end or back end? But it's so worth it.
It definitely is worth it.
It is so good. Barbara says, you guys are the best. Aw, thank you, Barbara. Actually, you're the best because you're here supporting what we do, and we can't do this without people just like you. So
yes, very true.
Stacy says, Ken and I will be serving at the City Mission on Thanksgiving. That's amazing.
Aww.
Then, depending on the weather, we might go to the Smoky Bones. If not, we'll cook up our smoked turkey and be thankful for our blessings.
I love that.
Amen.
You guys are so awesome.
So much for sharing that. Let's see. Auntie gave us a $10 chat. Auntie, you are so sweet. So glad to have met you guys. Thanks, Dustin. Loving your lives and videos. Auntie, we are so glad to know you and have you be here, a part of our family. And we appreciate the support so much. We love you. Thank you so much.
So sweet.
Carrie says, I hit the thumbs up 1 billion, million, trillion times plus one. Thank you, Carrie. DJ Magic Man is here, late to the video, so watching from the beginning in faster speed. Well, I'm so glad you're here, brother. We appreciate you very much.
Awesome.
Martha says, you guys are awesome. Love sharing your recipes.
So sweet.
And Dustin says, hugs. Dustin gives the best hugs, by the way.
He is. He's a good hugger.
Yes. And Carrie says, I've been cooking lots of meats right now and have a brisket to cook for the turkey. Very cool.
Love it.
Reese is in the middle of making homemade sugar-free cranberry sauce. Meal prep begins. That's awesome.
Sounds amazing.
Dustin says, my lazy turkey. I just stuff it with as much butter as you can fit inside. I do season the butter before. Put inside the turkey bag. Cook upside down. Also butter under the skin. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. And look who's watching on Facebook. It is the Kara Judd.
Hi, Kara.
Very good to see you, my friend. We got to go see Kara in person. She came out to the show that Ash and I played in Virginia.
Yeah.
Ash has a whole crew over there, including Kara and Roger Brown.
There's a whole great crew.
We met DJ Magic Man there.
Yeah.
There's Sean Bradley and his wife Michelle and their son Austin came down.
Many good people.
There was a whole crew there.
We love Virginia.
Yes.
We really do.
Jackie says, I've rewatched the old turkey gravy recipe several times. I cringe during the new turkey video to watch the pouring hot oil step. Where did the drippings go? So that was sitting on a cookie sheet. So the oil runs off the turkey down through the cooling rack onto the cookie sheet. So yeah, you don't want to put the drippings down your sink when you're using like a half of a cup of lard like I did.
Yeah,
so,
no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. Could you do your dry brine and cooking method with just a turkey breast? Absolutely. Debone it just to get it completely off the bone so you can get to the meat side. Because if you put it on the skin, it can't get through the skin. Put it on the meat side as well. So you'll take the bones out of the turkey breast. Same process, just there's a lot less to work with. Take the turkey breast off of the bone, lay it out flat, salt the meat side, flip it over, salt the skin, use the baking soda like I do, stick it in your fridge, dry brine it for at least probably 24 hours would be enough, but 48 is better, and continue. You can do the exact same thing. The only difference is without dark meat, you don't have to track the cooking temperature nearly as much because you've only got one kind of meat.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Janelle says, LOL, sorry, I forgot the gravy was on Dr. Barry's channel. That's all right. Listen, we're just doing stuff in so many places.
I want to let you know, we forget what live stream we just did because we do so many.
People ask me, what did you do with blah, blah, blah recipe? And I'm like, I don't even know what recipe they're talking about. I have to search my own videos to know what it is I did Because there's another thumbs up on my face.
Babe, your face is just really cute. See, it's just giving me all the thumbs up.
I'm telling you. John is here. Just got here. Sous vide one and a good air fryer. My top 2 must-have appliances, along with a stick blender and Ninja blender.
Yeah,
yeah,
buddy.
Great sous vide and a great air fryer are a couple other things you just cannot replace. Kara says, my grandmother's Greek cookies. Yeah, I remember she sent me a message about Greek cookies. I'm going to have to take a look and see what I can do there. So
Definitely.
Janelle says, I have no idea how you pronounce that, but it's a Norwegian fruited sweetbread. I have tried the keto fire recipe. Very cool. I'm going to have to research that. Jackie says, I can't seem to nail the CCN gravy, basically a liquidy custard, without immersion blending and a brick of cream cheese. So, Jackie, let me know what is not getting nailed about it, and I might be able to help, but my guess is that it's probably too much heat, so it's probably starting to separate a little bit. So let me know what your kind of experience is there, and maybe I can give you some tips to help. Let's see. Margaret's got to go, says hugs and love. Well, Margaret, have a wonderful day. We hope you are doing well and enjoy today and your Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Auntie says, I bought a sous vide one still in the box. Well, Auntie, we're going to be doing some more sous vide recipes. So
you'll love it, too.
Yeah, you keep an eye out, because once you learn how sous vide works, there is nothing quite like it. Amarette is here. Hello from Virginia. Hello, my friend. John says, I make a half and half bacon avocado mayo using 2 Crazy Ketos avocado mayo recipe. Perfect texture every time. Also add a dash of smoked paprika. Very cool.
Yummy, yummy.
Amarette says, I'm hosting Thanksgiving this year, and there will be 5 carnivores. Raise the roof.
Wow.
Love it. Auntie says, is there one knife for deboning you suggest? Yes. A paring knife. The little short one, because having that little short blade makes it easier to get in between the bones and not accidentally cutting through anything, because the joints are only about this big, so you don't need a great big long blade. You only need a small blade to go through each of those joints. The only thing else you'll need is either a heavy chef's knife or a cleaver, because you're going to use the back side, not the sharp side, the back side, to break that little piece off the bottom of the leg. That's all you need, just those 2 things. So, and honestly, you can also break that off of the back side with like some kind of a mallet, or anything that has like an edge that you can kind of hit right there. That bone's pretty easy to break if you have like kind of a little hard, like thin edge like that. But you want to use the back end or the back side where it's dull. Don't try to use your sharp side, because you'll break the sharp part of your knife. So, Amber's Corner, you have a very beautiful wife, Chris. Love your earrings.
Aw, you're so sweet. Thank you so much.
You are correct. I have no idea what she's doing with me, but I just keep cooking and try to keep her happy, because I don't want her to ever realize that I'm a 2 and she's a 10.
Well, look at all the stuff you cook. That's maybe why
That's
I'm
right.
with you,
He's a 2, but he's a professional chef and keeps you happy. Is that kind of what we're doing? Yeah.
Oh no, I'm joking, but maybe I'm not. I'm just saying, you're very sweet, Amber. Thank you so much.
Jackie says, for Christmas, a ketovore eggnog would be nice. I actually have an eggnog recipe, but I can totally update it and do another.
I love eggnog. Big fan.
Carrie says, you got to watch out because the game hens might be playing board games. Yes, indeed.
You're not wrong.
Jackie says, I make CCN butter mayo and Hubs is strict line carnivore, but I prefer the texture and flavor when I make mayo with liquid coconut oil.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. And there's Janelle with the eggnog recipe. Look at that.
Janelle coming in.
Amy says she wants to see the noodle making contest. Lynn, you might have opened a can of worms here.
I'm just saying.
Dustin says, if we want to bring in the most number of people to get healthy, but we're going to shame or berate anyone who slightly deviates from you, does not make them healthy, it makes them quit. I totally agree.
Gosh.
Dustin just has all the wisdom. This is why he and I love each other and work together, because we get it. We both understand. We're just trying to help people. And even if meat, salt, water is the ideal thing for you, which I don't know if it is or not, that's for you to decide. Even if it is, kicking you while you're down and telling you you're stupid does not help you get there in any way.
It sure does not.
We don't do that crap. So we support you right where you are, and we just want to see you take one step every day to get better. Jackie says, I might win a noodle race. My tip for the CCN noodles is do not use a pastry bag. Instead, use a zipper lock bag and stab 3 to 5 holes in the side, and you can squirt out a bunch of noodles at once. I like that.
That's actually really
smart. I love that.
Jackie,
that's the thing. Like, you guys, you do this kind of stuff, and you find your own tweaks and your own techniques. Because I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but I'm making this stuff up as I go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you realize this or not, but I don't have anybody to reference to figure out the best way to do this. I just try a bunch of things until I figure out the one that works. I share it with you, and then you guys can turn around and teach me how to make it better. I love it.
It's part of the journey.
Farm to Table with Lady Cinnamon is here. Says, born and raised in Colorado Springs. Now we live in Fort Collins. Well, very cool. I'm so glad you are here. Let's see. Holly Springer is here. Good day, everyone. Dr. Barry said he sprinkles baked powdered eggshells on his food for extra calcium. Chris, have you found a way to incorporate ground baked eggshells in recipes? So I've tried it a couple of times. I'm not a real huge fan of the grittiness, but if you really want to do it, I made a chicken fried steak for us one time.
Yep.
And I mixed the eggs, the egg shells, the ground up eggshells. I made them very, very, very fine into a powder, and I mixed a little bit into the gravy that I put over it. It was not my favorite, but it was okay.
Yeah.
It was all right. It was there. So if you really need extra calcium and you're willing to do that, and you don't mind that little bit of a texture in there, it hit it pretty well.
Yeah.
Because it's very fine and it's mixed in. And it was really just kind of like almost like the minerals you get from things like Redmond salt. So
right.
Tell you what, I'm going to pause on comments for just a minute. We're going to talk about something because Ash has something that she was going to tell you guys about.
Oh yeah, I kind of
with the subject today, and we actually have. My wife works very, very hard, and with her music career, she is just running out of time because she helps me so much with what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. We're trying to figure out how to be more efficient. So we actually have some housekeepers that are going to help us clean, like once every couple of weeks. We're going to pay for some people to come in and help us clean because I make such a mess in our house by cooking all the time, and we run multiple businesses out of here. So we're going to spend a little bit of money and try to take some things off of her plate of trying to help, with her keeping up with that all the time, so that we can do more stuff with Chris Cooking Nashville and more stuff with Ash Taylor. And I don't know when the housekeepers are coming, but they're coming today, so if she has to step out suddenly, that's why.
Yes.
But she has a story that she was going to tell you guys really quickly, because we're talking about resisting temptation of holiday foods. And I have my thoughts on this, but would you like to tell them what kind of inspired us to talk about this?
Absolutely. So basically, because it's the month of November and Chris and I are self-employed, I was taking care of getting Chris and I health insurance for the year of 2025.
Because we're self-employed and the government beats you up really badly for that.
They sure do. So I had to, long story short, I had to spend some time on a, phone call with healthcare.gov, their 800 number. And so, I'm sitting there on the phone and the music starts, you hear the elevator music, and every couple of seconds, they let music play and they stop, and they're giving important announcements, and they're talking about like enrollment and this and that and the different options, just as they do. But I found it really interesting because this was literally just this past week that I was doing this, and clearly Thanksgiving is this week. And I just found it really interesting because clearly I'm talking to the United States government, and it had this thing come on where it was like, are you worried about trying to stay healthy and on track during the holiday season? And I thought, that's interesting. Okay. So then they play a little elevator music and they came back, and then they were talking about, for about 5 to 10 minutes, they were literally going on, and they were talking about how if you want to stay healthy this holiday season, try not to eat too much meat. That's a direct quote from the United States government. They talked about eating low fat. They then talked about eating vegetables, and then proceeded to go on a list of vegetables that would be good for you to eat, which I recognized as all being supremely high in carbs and oxalates. They were talking about things where lima beans and broccoli and a lot of those types of things. So yeah, they were talking about maybe having a glass of wine because that's heart healthy. They were talking about all of these things, basically though promoting you eating a ton of low fat, a ton of vegetables, and basically said lay off the meat.
Yep.
And so
lots of whole grains.
Lots of whole grains. Maybe you could have kind of like whole wheat dinner rolls instead of this, and maybe try using
cooking with heart healthy oils like canola oil.
They even said what would be really great is if you cooked your turkey on the outside instead of butter, why don't you use maybe vegetable oil? So it was just this whole experience I had there where I was sitting, just waiting to try to talk to a human to get health insurance, and it's like, this is what the United States government is literally telling everyone that calls this 800 number.
Yeah.
And it's like, this I think is all over social media. It's all over, just anywhere our phones are always in our pockets. It is everywhere and it is inundated.
Yeah.
And so I hung up and, got done and I came and I told Chris that and I said, I cannot believe it. And to be really honest, there was a day in my life where I would have totally been like, yeah, I need to have more vegetables this Thanksgiving. I need to, I
better
use
make
this...
that dressing with whole grain bread.
Yep.
Instead of putting butter in anything, I'm going to use olive oil, and then I'm going to get instead of that, let me get the canola oil and the vegetable oil, and let me make sure to eat lots and lots of greens and lots of brown rice, and like.
So it was just very interesting though, because now knowing what we know. And, when I did eat that way, I was massively unhealthy, had super high anxiety. Knowing just what we know, though, it kind of blew my mind to sit there. And it's like they are forcing me to listen to this whole propaganda they have on what I should be eating in order to be considered healthy. And it's quite literally the opposite of what I find we eat that actually works.
Yeah.
To make us feel, to lose weight, to be happy, to be healthy. And so I just found that really interesting. And so I told Chris about that, and that's kind of what sparked this whole conversation.
This whole conversation of holidays and, all this kind of stuff. So one, it's important that we all know what we're going to eat, why we're eating it, what we don't want, etc. And I'm not telling any of you what you should or should not be having. That is a decision you need to make, and you need to do the research to decide why you believe this and what you want to do. Now, that being said, some tips, and this is stuff that we use not just for the holidays, but just in general. How do you go places and avoid giving in to temptation? Right? Because this is a hard thing, and I'm telling you, I struggled with this when we did this the first time. I had to completely avoid all situations, or I would just want to give in. So what do you do to navigate the temptation? There's a couple of things that I have for you guys to think about. Number one, this is something I use still to this day if I feel like I'm going to have to be concerned. Pre-game. Pre-game, right? When you are getting ready to go to family's house, or you're getting ready to sit down to a Thanksgiving dinner with all of the stuff, that you don't want to eat, or whatever your case is, a party, a birthday party, dinner out with friends. There's 100 different things I can think of where this would help. Before you walk out that door, before everybody shows up with all their desserts and casseroles, whatever your situation, before you go to dinner with friends, before you go to the party, whatever, you crank through as many beef patties or eggs or, hot dogs for whatever that is. Like you pregame, you eat as much of that as you want to make sure you are satisfied and happy with this super high fat and high protein meal, because then when you show up, you're not hungry, right? And even if you don't want to eat until you're full, you just want to eat something so you're not as hungry, so you don't need to eat as much when you get there, fine. But pre-gaming, so you're not sitting there looking at all these things that you can't allow yourself to have, whatever your outlook is on this, when you're not sitting there looking at all of that stuff you're trying to say no to, and you're not starving in the process, you're not super hungry, it makes it so much easier to say, no, I don't need that. You guys don't realize probably until you end up in the situation when you're hungry, saying no to the thing you're not supposed to have is 100 times harder than saying no when you're like, well, I'm not really hungry anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys have experienced this. If you have, drop it in the comments and tell people, yeah, this is what I do, and this is what I've experienced. I'm hungry. It's way harder to say no. For me, that's the hardest part. If I'm hungry, I have a much harder time thinking that I'm going to have to say no to all this stuff. If I'm super full, I can sit there and watch everybody else eat it, and it doesn't faze me in the least. Because then I have the ability to go, if I eat that, I'm sure it would taste good, but if I eat that, I'm going to feel like crap tomorrow.
Right.
Well, that's not worth it, is it? Then you can go to something like a Thanksgiving dinner, or you can have family over for Thanksgiving. You can eat the turkey, you can eat deviled eggs, whatever the things are that work for your particular approach to the proper human diet, you can eat just that stuff, and you're not super hungry for all of this other junk you don't need.
Yeah.
It's way easier to say no. So pre-game, eat before, eat whatever it is you got to do. The other thing, when you go someplace, if you're going somewhere else, or if you're cooking at your own house, whatever, make sure you make extra of whatever the thing is that you are okay with having. If you're making the turkey, make a little bit more turkey, or have something to go with that turkey that's meat. If you're making deviled eggs, make extra deviled eggs. Like, make whatever the thing is, or the multiple things, whatever it is you can have, whatever it is you're planning on eating, make sure there's extra. Because if you walk up and you go like, oh, well, everyone else is taking 2 pieces of turkey, and if I take 10 pieces of turkey, there's not going to be enough left for everybody else, well, that's a little bit of a problem. But if you make 10 times the number of deviled eggs, I mean, don't actually make 10 times the number of deviled eggs, but if you make a bunch of extra deviled eggs and you go, okay, everyone's got 2 pieces of turkey, so do I've got a plate full of deviled eggs, everyone else has 2, 3, 4, and there's still deviled eggs left over, you're good. You're golden, right? So have extra things you can make that give you the ability to be full with fat and protein, so you're not sitting there looking at these other things trying to say no when you're really not satisfied. That's a big, big challenge. That's a hard thing to do. The other thing is, if there are substitutes you're ready to have, keto, carnivore versions of other things, make those things. Even if it's just for yourself. If nobody else wants it, fine. Make that for yourself. Value yourself and your own diet enough to make that stuff and be okay with having that substitute, so you feel like you are part of this whole celebration with everybody else. You don't realize a lot of times how much being socially involved affects your choices with food until suddenly you're trying not to do so.
Yeah.
So have the option where it's like, hey, medically, I'm trying not to eat this stuff over here. I've got my carnivore version of it. I'm going to eat the carnivore stuffing. This is a Chris Cook in Nashville recipe. Would you like to try it? If you want, I can send you the video link. Make yourself be part of the cultural, social thing going on without compromising on what you're putting in your mouth. Make that stuff for you. Make that stuff. Have the perspective that you are worthy of taking the time. You are valuable enough that it is worth your time and the money to buy those ingredients, cook that thing for yourself, and feed yourself and nourish yourself the way you need to be fed without feeling like somehow, well, I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to spend that money on me. Value yourself more than that. You're worth that. So if there's something like that that will make a difference, do it. And if none of that is going to help because you don't really care about those recipes, great. Make a great big old ribeye steak and take it with you. That's cool too. Like, do what you got to do. But value yourself enough to know you're worth doing that.
Yeah.
It's very important. And then one more thing I'm going to say. If you don't do this perfectly and you eat some dessert, you eat some stuffing, you eat some sweet potatoes, you eat some whatever, like list any of the favorite things that you just, feel like you shouldn't be eating but you might slip up and have. If you have it, I'm not saying I'm giving you carte blanche, just go ahead and do it and it's not a problem. I'm not saying that, so don't hear me say that. What I am saying is, if it happens, you are not less valuable than you were before you did that. You're not a failure. You're not a bad person. You're not immoral. You're not wrong. You're a human being. And after you eat that stuff, you need to get up the next day and you need to go right back to what you know you need to do. And you need to act like it never happened. Dr. Barry talks about this all the time. What do you do if you accidentally sit down and eat the entire box of cereal? What do you do if you eat the whole tray of cobbler? What do you do if you eat 50 dinner rolls and now someone has to carry you out to the car at the end of the day? What do you do the next day? You get up, you go, well, that didn't make me feel very good. And then you pretend like it never happened and you go right back to the keto, carnivore, whatever it is thing you're doing, and you just pretend like it just isn't there.
Yeah.
Because if you fall all over this trap of beating yourself up and thinking you're worthless, tearing yourself down, and then you continue to do it because, well, I screwed up, I'm worthless, I may as well go ahead and blah. That is a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is a tear yourself down addiction cycle where you feel terrible, so you use food to treat it. And then you feel terrible, you used food to treat it. So you use more food to treat it. And it becomes this snowball effect where it gets worse and worse and worse. And it's all because you're still focused on the fact that you failed. Don't do that. You're too valuable for that. You guys are wonderful, amazing human beings, and we love all of you, and we want to see you succeed. If you accidentally, in quotations, eat cobbler or dinner rolls or whatever the thing is, or even if you intentionally do those things because you're like, I don't care, I'm going to do it. Whatever. I'm not here to judge. Don't let that derail anything that you do. Go, okay. And the next day, you go right back to what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I cannot agree more. I think too, I guess if I could say two things just to add on to that, because I feel like I'm, keto a lot more of the time, and that works really well for me, and I feel really good.
Yeah.
Whereas I know with you, veggies and other such things, you don't seem to do as well on.
Right.
But I think if you are making the decision, if you're like me, where you can have some more things, and it, clearly it's not good for you, but it doesn't really phase you in that same way. I love your idea of basically eating lots of protein.
Right.
Before. So, for example, it's like maybe you have some eggs and bacon the morning of Thanksgiving, and you basically fill your body up with fat and protein. And I guarantee you by the time, even if you eat at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock, you have your Thanksgiving dinner.
You're going to be as hungry.
You're not going to be as hungry, and it's going to be a lot harder to overeat.
Yep.
So doing things like that, even if you're planning on having some treats, I think is really smart.
Yep.
Because you're also giving your body that fat and protein to keep yourself kind of stable. And then if you do have things you're not supposed to have, it makes it easier to go back to things the next day, in my experience. So again, planning and pre-gaming. The other thing that I would like to add is, I'm sure, if you have family members that are also keto and they're carnivore and they eat the same way as you, that is so awesome, and that is a blessing, and that is great. If you have standard American diet, friends and family that you're going to be spending the holidays with, though, don't beat them up for being on a standard American diet.
Yeah.
And don't make them feel bad. I think that something that's very off-putting is like, we have such knowledge, and we are so blessed to know about keto and carnivore and all of these things, but they don't know. And I think a lot of them are very addicted to food, and they are sick, and they have a lot, they're unhealthy. They have a lot of issues. And so I think it's just important to do what is best for you, but remember that it's like they need your help, but they don't need you to beat them up over the head. And I think the way that you can actually, in the long run, kind of lean them into this lifestyle and show them is by showing up and being a damn example.
Yep.
If they see you eating low carb, if they see you being super kind and bringing, like a Chris Cooking Nashville recipe, like, right. Hey, thanks so much for making the stuffing. So, I'm trying to do this. It just makes me feel good. So I'm going to have this carnivore stuffing. And if, honestly, a lot of people I find are really curious, and they're like, oh, can I try a bite? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's what this is. This is so cool. Like, I could actually probably do this. This is awesome. Like, so just remember, though, to be kind. And as your family is putting actual real mashed potatoes and dinner rolls and stuffing and all that on their plate, don't make them feel bad. Yeah. They just don't know better. So that's all I got to say about that. So,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. So, what are the biggest temptations for you guys, and what do you do to avoid those? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to know if you have any other tips or anything that maybe we didn't suggest that you use as a way to avoid the temptation and deal with it. So would love to would love to know what you think. Let's get back to these comments here. Auntie says, oops, container I need to use the wand with. So yes, you can also use just a big stock pot. So if you have a big stock pot, like you would boil water, something like that, you can put the wand on the side of that, and you can fill that up with water, and you can use that to sous vide. So it's what a lot of people do, and then you can just lay like plastic wrap or foil or something over the opening of it, just to kind of prevent evaporation from being too crazy. So
it's awesome.
But yeah, or you can get a nice container. Don't get me wrong, I have several.
He just says several, and he looks at me because I'm like, do we need all of these?
Yes. Patricia says, Auntie, read all the instructions to the sous vide while you're healing and watch all the videos, and you'll be all set. Yes.
Good advice.
Also, if you want, there's a channel on YouTube called Sous Vide Everything with Guga. If you want to know how to really sous vide things well, that's the man. That's where I learned all my first starting out sous vide stuff. He's got great info, and I'm going to be putting out some sous vide recipes going forward too. So, let's see. Patricia says, Auntie also needs that amazing pair of pliers for the Cornish hen. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, in the turkey video, I show you these food pliers that I'm using to get the tendons out of the dark meat, and man, that's a great tool in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Great tool in the kitchen. Martha is so sweet. She says, I think you're both 10s and make the perfect couple.
You're very sweet.
You're very, very sweet. Martha says she uses a zipper bag, and she's responding to Jackie, which I believe...
talking about the holes.
Talking about the holes, and that's a really cool idea. So
I love it.
Yeah. Dustin says it's hard to deprogram people who've been sold a way of eating for almost a century. It's going to take time and patience. Absolutely. I'm actually in the process of writing an ebook right now. It's going to be a free ebook for people on kind of an intro to keto and carnivore, specifically carnivore, that will then lead them to some of the resources I have. And one of the things I was looking at was, sort of this idea of where this low fat and low cholesterol and all this stuff came from. And I was researching this, this comes from a study that was done with Ansel Keys. Mm-hmm. And that was in like the oh gosh, I'm trying to remember when that was. But the keto diet was used to start treating like things like epilepsy and other things in children as like an intentional therapeutic thing back in like the 1920s and the 1930s.
Interesting.
So this whole thing of like low fat, low cholesterol foods versus doing keto where it was low carb, like this battle has been going on for like a century.
Wow.
It was around the same time that all of that Ansel Keys stuff was causing all of these issues. It's a whole thing. So we are really trying to deprogram a lot of very deeply ingrained wrong information.
And that's why I said what I said about not beating up your friends and family when they're doing what they think is right by eating what they have been told.
Yes.
But if you're showing up and you're looking healthy, you're mentally clear, you're losing weight, you're handling this in a very calm, mature, educated manner, that's how you eventually get people to go, wait, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
Why do you look so good? What's
and here's
going
the other
on?
thing. When suddenly you are in control of your life and you've lost weight and you feel great and you have all this other stuff, it makes it real hard for people to tell you that you're crazy, because it's like, but you've changed your entire life. And you have to be an example first.
And that's the thing, is like people can argue science, they can argue all this stuff in their belief system, but you can't argue the facts.
Yep.
Right?
Amber's Corner says, no matter where you are on the keto carnivore spectrum, you're already ahead of millions that don't care what poisons they consume from the general processed food USA diet. So I say good job. I totally agree. This is why I've said before, imagine if we could get the whole world to go like 65 to 75% towards keto carnivore. Just that.
Just that.
Imagine what would happen to the world overnight.
What if like just 30% stopped eating seed oils? Like, yeah, it's incredible, right?
Small steps to greatness. That's what it is. Auntie says, that is so smart. Getting help, your time is so precious.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, if you guys have never owned a business, I mean, we own several. If you have never owned a business, your time is the only resource you can't figure out how to get more of. Mm-hmm. And so you have to know where to allocate it. I mean, because we already spend 70, 80, 90 hours a week working at this point. Actually, probably more most weeks.
Chris and our average work day is about 12 to 14 hours. That's on average, and we're never caught up. So
right, that's 6 to 7 days a week. So
that's why we're trying to delegate, but we also can't grow and continue to do things. And so it's good. We're trying to be smart, and honestly, I think though that we would rather spend our time doing things like this.
I'd rather spend more time helping you guys than I would Ash and I trying to figure out how to mop the floors.
Solid. Yeah.
Just saying. Mm-hmm. Lisa is here, says, hi from Idaho. Thanks, Chris, for your recipes. My almost 15-year-old son who struggles with his weight said he would start ketovore. I've used a couple of your recipes to help him, and they have helped.
That's awesome.
So glad. And 15 is the time to start getting that under control now.
Yeah.
And learning, okay, here's a better lifestyle that will make me happy. Like, that way he doesn't end up almost 30 years old or 30 years old and 400 pounds like I was.
Yep.
And then figuring, like, if I don't do something, I'm going to not be here in 5 years.
Right.
So. Let's see. Lynn says, I roll, I told, I roll about those recorded messages you heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is sad. And honestly, though, how many people are literally going to sit there as they're already health conscious because you're trying to get health insurance and you're like, what do I need? What do I, whatever. And then this is what they're telling you. And it's like, oh, you don't want to spend, $1,000 a month on health insurance? Well, eat more veggies and have some vegetable oil.
Have a bunch of whole grains and vegetable oils.
And have some wine. And,
Yeah, in 30 years you won't be around anymore, but at least you will have felt good about what you were doing because we told you to.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Dustin says what's crazy is the FDA already knows that the dietary cholesterol has no impact on serum cholesterol, but it's not shared with the masses. Yeah, they didn't do a big press announcement when they figured that one out. They put it in all of their literature like 30 pages back, hidden in there.
Yep.
But they didn't do a press announcement, did they?
Mm-mm.
Amy says, I'm getting so triggered right now listening to Ash's story. Big government funded by big food wants to keep us sick and on big pharma.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, because that way they all make money and none of us can argue.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara says, eating ahead of time is my exact plan.
You go,
Love
Barbara.
It.
Heck yeah.
Social situations are the hardest for me. I think they are for a lot of people, and that's why this stuff matters so much,
Absolutely.
Debbie says the government's trying to avert the mass exodus that will happen as people learn the truth about all their fake studies and nutritional advice. The truth can't be stopped now. The PhD is the way. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Low Carb Spin says, thanks so much, Chris. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Ash, and your whole family. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Appreciate that.
Let's see. Sherry says, I bring my own subs that I can eat. Bread, crackers, tortillas. It's not hard for me to pass up the high carb foods. Excellent.
Exactly.
Bring the substitutions that you can eat. And then the thing is, when you just don't make it a big deal, nobody else makes it a big deal. Love it. Cheryl Delisle Deaver. I wonder if we're related.
I was gonna say
that Delisle name is not one that I see
like
very
often.
Aunt
Cheryl here.
There
you go.
Says they, government and big pharma, don't want us healthy. We'll be eating mostly turkey, making carnivore mashed potatoes, and making a meat stuffing with them, and making keto bread stuffing and a keto sugar-free dessert. Having turkey day with family and arming myself with these dishes. I'm choosing to eat healthy and not eating the sugar.
That's amazing.
I love that, Cheryl.
Yeah.
That is fantastic, and that's exactly what we do. Marilda says, trying to figure out how to send you a photo of a chart I wanted you to see and get your opinion. Marilda, if you send me an email with that, I will see that chart and I'll take a look at it and respond when I get a chance.
Yeah, info@chriscookingnashville.com.
That's right. You can just attach it to that email. I'm the one that checks everything there, so. Auntie says, so much wisdom and goodness. These tools are amazing for navigating any food situation. I agree. Thank you so much.
We have learned because we've done this for quite a while and failed and figured out what works and just happy to share.
Dustin says the next meal back on track.
That's
right. I want everyone to repeat that. The next meal back on track. The next meal back on track.
You know what's really important though about that phrase? It's not the next day.
Not the next day. It's not the next week.
It's not the next day. It's the next meal.
The next meal.
The next meal.
Back on track.
Yep.
No excuses for that. The next meal back on track.
Mm-hmm.
And you're good to go. And Lynn says, this is why we love Motivational Mondays, one of many reasons. Well, thank you.
Aww.
Let's see. Barbara says, just what we need to hear ahead of the holidays. Yeah, well, I just happy to help any way that I can, guys.
Absolutely.
Amy says, I sneak food in my purse all the time, even to restaurants. All my favorite waitresses know me and are totally cool with this and support my cause. Mostly it's keto buns for burgers, etc., and tortillas. I love it. And you know what? That's the thing.
Cool.
Make friends with the people at the restaurant that you tend to go to. Talk to the manager. Explain to people what you're doing. Don't make it their problem, but just inform them of why you do what you do.
Yeah.
Most people are really cool with that.
Yeah.
They're fine with that.
Again, also, if you're showing up and kind of leading by example and just kind of politely, bringing your own keto buns and you're starting a conversation and a relationship with them, but you're not making them feel bad. You're not making, your choice is their problem.
That's also a ninja tactic of how to share the keto and carnivore diet with people, because you're not trying to tell them what they should do. You're just telling them why you do what you do. And it gives them kind of, why does that matter so much to you? And it opens up the opportunity to tell them politely instead of you feeling like you're shoving it down their throat.
Yeah.
So,
very true.
Yeah, it's very cool. Lynn says, that's right. Many people just don't know the things we now know. We didn't know it at one point either. We should all be kind no matter how we choose to eat and live.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Once you have the answer, beating up people who don't have the answer is never a good approach.
Yeah.
Once you have the answer, kindly helping other people realize they need the answer is the whole point.
Yeah.
Auntie says, thank you for the stock pot answer. Yeah, you're very welcome.
Absolutely.
Janelle says, one of my biggest temptations is to tell everyone about keto carnivore because most have health issues. I understand. I mean, listen, when you realize how miraculous this kind of really is, you get evangelical about it. You really do. Like, you want to go out and tell the world. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but it's an important thing to recognize that the way to tell the world is not to tell them what they're doing is wrong. When you tell people they're wrong, this is a psychological fact. When you tell someone what they're doing is wrong, or what their opinion is wrong, or whatever this case is, it actually makes them more likely to believe their own set of beliefs. Like, it makes them more resolved in their own beliefs. When you show them the success you're having and why, without telling them anything about themselves, and you let them come to that discovery for themselves, it really helps a lot. Also, you can only say something to someone who's at a point where they're willing and ready to listen. Yeah. And a lot of people aren't. You kind of have to let them be there. All you can do is encourage them along the way. But if you set yourself at odds with people right out from the get-go, then you're just at odds with them. And I'm guilty of this, so it's not a judgment. I've done it too.
I also think it's something, again, to keep in mind, just the grace. I think a lot of people don't realize that they actually have health issues.
Yeah.
I don't think they realize that they're brain fogged. I don't think they realize this. I think they think that's normal. And so...
I didn't know I was brain fogged.
No.
I just thought I was lazy.
Yeah.
I really thought it was just something wrong with me. I just wasn't good enough. Once I got outside of it, I was like, is that how I'm supposed to feel?
Yeah. So it's just a thing of showing grace in all of those things, and and it's a good thing. Like, you want to share, but I think, great example. My mom, when Chris first started doing carnivore and I was doing keto, I told her about it, and she was, just like me at first. It was like, can you eat all that red meat? Like, what is that? Is that good? Is that bad? And then my mom honestly just got to a point so low with her health that, she was in the hospital, and it was just this whole big thing. And so then she was to a point where she was like, well, I had mentioned something about, this is kind of why we don't eat this, and this is why we do that, is because of what your doctors are telling you. And that clicked in her brain. She was at a low point. She could hear and listen, and she saw all the weight we were losing, how healthy we were. She saw our examples and how we were living our life, and she goes, wow, okay. Yeah. So that's what made her try it. But
absolutely,
if we would have kept beating her over the head with it, it's like, good luck.
Yep. Absolutely. Cindy says, Chris and Ash, you're so right. We cannot beat ourselves up. Absolutely. Dustin says, Guga is awesome. I agree. If you guys happen to have a way of getting in touch with Guga, tell him he needs to do a collaboration with me.
I love Guga. He's great.
I love Guga.
He's a guy.
I would sell my left testicle to be on one of his videos.
Oh my God, Dave. What the hell? This is a family show.
Since when?
Yeah.
I'm straight up serious. I would, you guys have no idea. I would do anything to get a chance to be on a Guga show, to do a collaboration with him, just because he's so cool and I've learned so much from him. Seems like a great dude. Amy says, I still have late night snacking issues at 9 or 10 or during CCN cooking shows. Redmond's or salty helps. I lick a Redmond Salt Rock if intermittent fasting. Sometimes I go to bed. Those are great techniques. Some of his early content, the guys in his videos were keto. Yeah. His cousin Mamau was doing keto for a while, and Guga's actually lost a bunch of weight himself.
Yeah. So
not necessarily keto, but being a little bit cleaner and with his choices and everything. He's lost a bunch of weight, so... Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's Dustin sharing Guga's sous vide channel, so if you guys are trying to learn some sous vide stuff, that's a great place to go. And like I said, I'll be doing some sous vide recipes going forward, too. Jackie says, Hubs just walked through the room and commented, I obviously don't follow these guys like you do, but I think she's lost a lot of weight since you started watching their content.
Oh... I love you. I love your husband. I really appreciate that. I've lost, over the course of starting keto, I've lost 100 pounds. But yeah, to be honest, we've talked about this. I've actually been on a weight stall for quite a while. The last time I lost weight was when I did carnivore, and I lost it, and then I gained some back, and then I've kind of just been right where I'm at. But I'm also going down though in pant sizes, shirt sizes. I can definitely tell. We were looking at a music video that we filmed a year ago this week.
Yeah.
And my face looks completely different. So thank you. I appreciate the compliment and you guys noticing. But great example though of maybe my scale hasn't moved, but a lot of things in my body have healed, and my body recomposition is doing it.
That's why I very minimally even care what the scale says.
No, it's not. But I love your hubs. Tell him thank you. He's just made my day. I love that guy.
Cindy says, temptations don't really have any for what I miss. Breads, donuts, cereals. I make breads I can have, donuts I can have, etc. Just ignore the cereal thing, but I've gotten some Magic Spoon cereal. So there you go. You just, you find the tools that works for you. Cindy's a great example of that.
Yeah.
Jackie says, I'm so hopeful that we might have some positive cultural health movement with RFK running everything, praying hard for him to be confirmed. Yeah, we'll see what goes on. Hopefully there's some good info that comes out as all that stuff happens. So, hey, Maritza is here. Hi, Maritza. Another one of our rock star moderators. She's just catching up. So glad that you're here, Maritza. And, oh yes, Janelle put in the link to the CCN email submission. That is our contact form. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be starting to do, amongst all the projects we have, we're going to be starting to do a weekly newsletter.
Yep.
I don't know exactly when we're going to start that, but we're going to have some interesting info in there. And I'm not going to spam you guys. So if you go sign up for that, you're going to get something once a week from me, and maybe occasionally something special if there was like some real reason to send you something. I'm going to try to leave it at once a week because I don't want to bug you. I don't like getting spams
Here's
from
the deal.
places.
We don't have time to spam you. Okay, no. We don't have time, but we would love to share some cool things with you guys. So hit that link though and go sign up if you don't already to Chris's email thing. And I think we've talked about what we're going to put on it, and I think it will actually be very helpful to you guys. So
Absolutely. My dad says we bring our keto buns for Skyline Conies. There you go. And that's a great way to do it. My parents also went to school with the guy that owns the Skyline they eat at. So, again, know people. Talk to them. Work with them.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Keto Amy says, Janelle, I've had to learn to be less evangelical in my approach to and use my example more as a tool. Yeah, it's a learning skill.
It's hard.
It takes all kinds of just practice and effort to get good at these things. And I don't know if I'm good at it now. I'm just doing the best I can. Liz says we're going out to eat. I'm just having a cheat day. Cool. And then what do? Next meal, back on track.
Back to it. Don't beat yourself up.
That's right.
Get back to it. I love
That's right. That's great. Lynette is here. Hi, Lynette says, hi guys, late to the party, but glad to be here. We're so glad you're here.
We're happy you're here.
Every time your face pops up on my little thing on the screen here and I see your great big smile, it just makes our day.
We just smile back. We're like,
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Dustin says it's also not helpful to tell a person someone they trust like their doctor is giving them bad information as well. It's like telling a buddy his significant other isn't who they think they are.
Absolutely, yeah.
Totally. You got to let them take the information and learn it for themselves in the way that works for them. So this is awesome. Holly says my favorite Bible verse is 1 Peter 3:15, which says to always answer any man that asks with King James Version. So yeah. 1 Peter 3:15 is to basically, I believe, if I'm remembering my verse references correctly, to always have an answer for those who are asking for things when it comes to like sort of evangelical stuff. Ash is looking it up for me right now. But
how did you know? But that's...
I think here she dropped it and it says, always answer any man that asketh with meekness and fear. Yes. So have that answer and do it gently.
But in your hearts, reverse Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect.
Yes, absolutely.
Woo! Holly, that's a good one.
And it is no different with your diet than it is with your faith. And if you guys don't share the faith we do, that's cool. We love you guys, and we're so happy you're here. You don't have to believe the same thing we do for us to love you. So
absolutely, everyone's welcome.
Yeah, but that approach right there, whether it's about what you believe faith-wise or whether it's your diet or any of this stuff, that approach right there, the meekness, the respect, the gentleness, and the kindness with which you do it is what makes all the difference in the world. So also you notice it says, be ready to answer for anyone that asks. which means they're actually asking the question. You're not finding them sitting there and then beating them over the head with the information.
Right.
You can tell people about things because you care for sure, but you're not just seeking out an opportunity to tell someone all the things they're wrong about.
Yep.
So there's a balance there, and how you approach people, I think, is what makes all the difference. And I mean, listen, I'm just trying to do the best I can with that every day. I'm not perfect at it either. So Carrie says, I only step on the scale because they need to know the weight when I go to donate platelets when they put it on the formula for how much that I need to do. I normally donate 3 bags every 2 weeks. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And now there's a good reason to care about your weight.
Yeah.
It's a good reason.
That's great.
John says, if when I screw up a bit, I eat a half dozen eggs cooked in lots of butter to get back on track. John, that's a brilliant way to do it. I do the same thing. I use beef patties and eggs. If I have something that makes me not feel great, but I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. That's what I do. Jackie says, awesome that you have moderator help. Have you gotten some tech support on board for the website, i.e. adding older recipes, videos to the recipe card list? No, I'm the only one that has access to the website, and there's a reason for that, because that's a lot more in-depth and very intentional work that needs to be done. So it's a slow process, but
I was gonna say, adding the older recipes though, because Chris and I both have access to the website, and we don't really want to give that to someone else. Yeah. This is why, if you missed it though, we are hiring like housekeepers and stuff though, because we need time, which we just don't have, to do a newsletter, to put old recipes on the website. The moderators have already made our life so much easier.
Yes.
And it's really not so much about Chris and I. It's honestly about if we could free up time or get resources like moderators.
Yeah.
It makes getting the word out about this lifestyle to so many people that need it. It helps us to do that more and more efficiently, and it also helps us to grow. And it's like, we just think that's a way better use of our time. So you hang tight though, because we talked about that too. But
we're definitely working to get it there. So
yeah.
Everybody's talking about the fact they love that scripture. Andy here says, amen, gentleness and meekness, respect and kindness.
Yes.
Totally agree.
I love that.
Let's see here. And Farm to Table with Lady Cinnamon says, I'm dairy-free carnivore. Occasionally I have cheese, but it's a treat. I hope my sensitivity heals up, because I'd love to try carnivore recipes with dairy. I understand.
Yeah.
And you got to do what you got to do for your health, but it's a process. But, I will say, now that, so I did 365 days carnivore with no cheat meals. After that, even now, if I have more keto or ketovore stuff, as long as I don't do it for too many days in a row, I handle it way better now than I used to. Like, my body healed, so it's very possible you might heal up a little bit to where you're not as sensitive to it. If you're real sensitive to it, you may always be. I don't know. But if it's an occasional treat, then, I think that's cool. So Auntie says, helping to raise my nieces and nephews, we always told them gentleness and respect in everything. They are all good adults. I think it took hold. I love that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Catherine says, would love to see a cookbook filled with your music journey. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think a cookbook is definitely one of the projects we're working on. So it will be coming. Well, guys, we are all caught up on comments. We appreciate all of you. I know that this is going to be a week that may be filled with temptation or difficulty. If you have any of those issues, please reference back the things we said here. And more than anything, give yourself grace and do the best you can with what you've got. Remember, you are valuable. You are worth taking care of your health. We love all of you guys. More than anything, I just hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving, because we all have a lot to be thankful for. And we appreciate all of you being here. I know Ash and I have a lot to be thankful for with you guys supporting us the way you do. So, do you have any final thoughts before we let them go?
No, we just appreciate everyone tuning in, as always. And have a great, wonderful, happy, safe Thanksgiving. And a great Thanksgiving weekend as well, if you're going out shopping. And if you need more motivation, if you go off the rails and need to get back on track, or if you just want to share what you guys ate or whatever, we'll be here next Monday.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. We will be here. Tomorrow night in the kitchen, we have a really fun way to use some leftover steak that I'm going to be doing. I'll let you guys see that when I put the thumbnail out for it today. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we hope to see you in the kitchen tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, subscribe to both channels if you have not yet. And just be ready for all the amazing projects we have coming. Go sign up for that email list if you haven't yet, because that one's going to be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll make sure that everyone on that email list gets a copy of that ebook when it's done. I'll send that out to you guys for you to be able to get a hold of that when that's ready. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. I love every single one of you. Ash loves every single one of you. We can't do this without you guys, and you mean the world to us in this community. So thank you for always being here. Thank you for your support, and thank you for the chance to just spend our lives trying to bless others and teach others and help as many people as we can. And thank you for being the warriors that help us to do that. So we appreciate all of you guys. Make sure you eat your meat, even though it's going to be Thanksgiving and it's probably going to look like turkey. Love your life. We love every single one of you guys, and we're going to see you back here in the studio and down in the kitchen for recipes, motivation, and all kinds of interesting stuff. Guys, have an amazing Thanksgiving with your families and friends. We love every single one of you. Bye, y'all.
Bye.